All right, so we're going to go through a quick tutorial on how to make this pattern. For setup, what you will need is one roll of 8/4 cotton. I am currently using a light blue, and I have it set at 12 ends per inch. This is an 8 shaft pattern that I'm doing. There could probably be some adjustments made to make it less than 8. I'd have to look in how to do that. And we are using 4 treadles. So you'll have 8 shafts and 4 treadles. And I'll show you the tie up in just a minute. But we're doing 12 ends per inch for setting it in the heddle, and it is threaded in a straight twill. So we are going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we are repeating that for the entire amount of the project, which is about 10.5 inches. And I would advise doing a floating selvage. I forgot to, shame on me, but do a floating selvage. It will make your pattern a little bit neater. And we will Alright, so we're going to show the tie up for the treadles for these space jellies. Here we have the tabby, and here we have the tabby. So it's only the first, here. It's only the first 4 groups. So we have the tabby on both sides, and then these are for the regular pattern. So I want to make it clear, I have a short chain, that means that shaft is going up, and the long chain means the shaft is going down. You just have to adjust for that, because when you do the pattern on a jack loom, the pattern may come up upside down, which I'll show you what both sides of the pattern look like, so you can make that adjustment as needed. So for this one, so first shaft is up, second is down, 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 down for the next 5 shafts, because this is an 8 shaft pattern that I've made. So the next 5 shafts are down, and then the last 2 are up. So only 3 shafts are going up, and that is the 1st, 7th, and 8th. And then when we come over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all going down, and only shaft 8 is coming up. I hope that helps. So if you happen to start seeing this particular pattern show up, don't worry, this is the back of the pattern. So it means you've tied it up right. You're just seeing the back of the pattern, and the front will be on the opposite side. And if it's showing properly, this is what the front will look like. So just keep that in mind. If you accidentally see the wrong side, just check. It will probably look like this on the bottom. So I know sometimes when I am changing a pattern from a jack loom to this, I do it upside down. And I assume if you have a jack loom and you're rearranging the pattern, you probably make the same mistake. So don't panic, it's fine, just flip it around. I recommend you do floating selvages. I forgot to do them, so that's my fault. I have to tie the string around more manually, but that's okay. When you do yours, you'll remember to put the floating selvages so you won't have this issue. But I've already layered the 8 layers in tabby, so now we're going to go ahead and go in with our glow-in-the-dark yarn. And we are lifting the first treadle, which is going to be raising shaft 2, 4, 6, and 8. Then we're going to go ahead and beat that down. And we are going to keep doing our tabby. So let me go ahead and do this layer of tabby in between. And then again, we are going to relift shaft 1. And since I forgot to do the floating selvage, I'm going to actually push up the bottom thread here. If you have a floating selvage, this won't be an issue, but since I forgot it, I need to manually make sure I get that string. go ahead and beat down again. Now I will go ahead and loop this. And since with this pass I'm actually doing a different shed, I will not have to manipulate this thread, even though I'm going back to the shaft 1, because when I do the tabby, that's the opposite. This thread will keep this one from moving. It will lock it into place. As you could tell, if I pulled it, it didn't go past a certain point, and that's because the thread is locking it into place, which is normally what we see with a tabby. So we pass through, and then again, we're going to go in with the blue, keeping our tabby. And we do a total of 4 passes with the glow in the dark. I'm raising that thread up again. This is why you remember to do your floating selvages. It will make the pattern neater. I made a mistake, so my pattern isn't going to be as pretty as yours, but that's okay. Okay, go back in with the blue. Okay. Sorry. We are going to raise shaft 3, which means we are on our push treadle 3, which means we are only lifting shaft 8. So this is the 8th shaft that's coming up. Everything else is going down to create our pattern. I'm going to go ahead and beat down, and I'm making sure that this blue passes over right here to keep that edge nice and neat. And we're going to go ahead and pass through. Oops, wrong shed. I'm going to pass through, beat down, and that again will lock it into place. But now we are going to do shed our shaft treadle 3. I can't speak. Treadle 3 again, but see that thread is holding in place, so we don't need to tuck under. If you have a floating selvage, great opportunity to use it to get a little extra security, but this will be fine. Beat down. Again. Go over. And then shaft or treadle 3 again. And then boop. Pass back through treadle 1. Continue with our tabby. Oops. And now we are actually going to change to treadle 2, which we are raising shaft 1, 7, and 8. All the other sheds are down. We are passing through, beat down. Oops. Always want to tangle them up. I can't help it. Beat down. Treadle 2 again. Down. Alright, that is the end of our pattern. So now we're just going to do 8 passes with, I'm going to move this up here so we catch the edge, with our tabby. And we're just going to keep doing that. Pass. Alright, so now we have our complete pattern, and I'll give you a closer look. So if you look here, we have our complete jellyfish pattern here. Let me see if we can get some better focus here. So here is our jellyfish pattern. It should glow in the dark, which we should see upon completion. Now each individual one is going to be about 12 inches long. So you should have a complete number of, I believe, 8 of these. And right now we are currently at 5. So we have about 3 more before this one's completed. And at that point, we can move on in the process. All right. So you've been watching the tutorial on how to make these hand towels. So with the 3 meter warp that we had, you ended up getting 5 total hand towels, 12 inches long. I set the warp at 10 inches wide, and I have about an inch. It shrank a little bit, but I had about an inch of fringe on all of them. So whenever you're weaving, you're going to want to keep a space between each one that you make of probably about 2.5 inches, just because there's going to be a little bit of shrinkage, or one might be a little bit crooked. So I probably do about 2.5 inches, and that should give you enough space on both to give the fringes. It was 10.5 inches at the reed, because I actually warped it at 12 ends per inch with an 8/4 cotton. And this is just a basic worsted weight glow-in-the-dark twist yarn. When I ran out, I ended up using a different worsted weight, and it looks pretty similar in the way it looks. You could definitely change that out in the pattern for something like something like a 3/2 cotton or a 3/4 cotton. And I think both of those would look really good. And then you would have an entirely natural cotton product, which is also really nice because you know that's going to go in the dryer really well. So if you want to make that change, definitely do it. I would probably, if I did, I might actually go with a 3/4 just because it's a little bit thicker. And even with this pattern, I just feel like the 3/2 just wouldn't add enough plushness. So personal preference, y'all make your decisions. And so the warp is that 8/4 cotton set at 12 ends per inch. It was 3 meters long and 10.5 inches. So, and then the threading was quite simple. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Repeat. So we kept it fairly simple there. And the treadles, I have the video, you've seen how I set those up. I can't repeat it off the top of my head. I'm not going to lie. But doing those things, you'll end up with these beautiful little hand towels. And you can tell, if you really wanted, you could actually do multiple colors for the jellyfish. I might, yeah, you could definitely do multiple colors for the jellyfish, because you could just change each row. Or if you set it for a sinking shed, I believe, because that would change which ones go up and down. But all in all, it just depends where you want the floats. And I'm fairly happy with this. I think it's super cute. And I think the back is really fun too. It just makes me think of those old-fashioned lava lamps. Doesn't it? A little bit, kind of. I definitely do. So let me know if you decide to give this a try. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.